The two-state solution is built on a lie. Let me explain. Why is it that from 1948 to 1967, not one Arab country even thought about creating a Palestinian state? Jordan occupied Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank, in those years. Egypt controlled Gaza in those years. That's 19 years, nearly 2 decades. If the Palestinians were a real longing nation for independence, why didn't their Arab brothers give it to them then? The answer is brutally simple. Because the idea of a Palestinian state didn't even exist. The demand for a Palestinian state wasn't born in 1948. It wasn't born in 1917. It wasn't even part of the Arab conversation until after 1967, when Israel won a defensive war and liberated Judea, Samaria, and Gaza from Jordanian and Egyptian control. And then, suddenly the concept of Palestinian nationhood exploded into international headlines. Overnight, the same people who were simply Arabs became Palestinians, with a recently adopted national flag and a demand for independence. And the world bought it.
Absence of a concrete plan for Palestinian statehood.
He is expected to formally recognize a Palestinian state.
A special ceremony marks the raising of the Palestinian flag at the Palestinian mission.
Now let's rewind. In the early 20th century, the leading Arab voices didn't talk about a Palestinian identity. They talked about Greater Syria, Arab nationalism or pan-Islamism. Not one of them, okay? Not Nasser in Egypt, not Hafiz al-Assad in Syria, not the Hashemite monarchy in Jordan, ever recognized a separate Palestinian people. They all viewed the land of Israel as part of their empire, not a future Palestine. In fact, in 1946, the Arab office in Jerusalem submitted a report to the Anglo-American Committee. And what did they say? They said Palestine is part of Syria. Its people are part of the Syrian branch of the Arab nation. That's not me saying it. Don't call me radical. That's them. Even the Palestinian National Charter of the PLO in 1964 admitted this. It called Palestine an integral part of the Arab homeland. Not a nation, not a unique identity, just one piece of a larger Arab puzzle. So where did this Palestinian identity even come from? It was a political invention, a reaction, not to colonialism, not to occupation as they call it, but to Zionism. The Jewish return to our ancestral homeland is what triggered the creation of Palestinian nationalism. Their identity is defined not by cultural language or religion. They all share that with the other 22 existing Arab countries. No, their identity is built on one thing: opposition to Israel. And you want to know what makes this even more insane? Listen, there are 193 countries in the world, but there are over 9,000 ethnic and cultural groups. The Kurds, the Baskis, the Druze, they all have rich histories, languages, and customs. Many of them never got a state. Most of them never asked for one through terrorism, that's for sure. But this particular group, who never had a flag, a government, a currency, or even a name until the 60s, has convinced the world that they are the one group entitled to a state in the middle of the only Jewish country on earth? That's not justice. That's delusion. Now, I want to talk to you about the real conditions on the ground, okay? What is the Palestinian Authority? It's a dictatorship. Mahmoud Abbas has been ruling without elections since 2005. He just turned 90, by the way. The last times Palestinians went to the polls, they elected Hamas, a terror group that later butchered Jews on October 7th. So now there are two governments for Palestinians, the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank and Hamas in Gaza. These two sides aren't factions. They're literally at war with each other. The Palestinian Authority arrests Hamas members. Hamas executes Palestinian Authority loyalists. This is not a democracy in the making. It's chaos. And if the world wants to reward that with a state, let's get something straight. The Jewish people built a state after 2,000 years in exile. We had no money, no oil, and no support from our neighbors. But we built institutions, an economy, a democratic government, and one of the strongest armies in the world. The Palestinians? They've received billions in international aid. They've had multiple chances for peace. And what did they do with it? They turned Gaza into a terror base. They turned schools into rocket factories. They turned foreign aid into mansions and Swiss bank accounts for their corrupt leaders. That's not a liberation movement. That's a mafia with a flag. Now I want to ask you something else. Name one other national movement that turns down every single offer of independence. In 1937, the Arabs rejected it. In 1947, the Arabs rejected it. In 2000, 2001, 2008, all the offers were rejected. Why? Because every offer required one simple thing: recognize Israel as the homeland of the Jewish people. And they couldn't do it. I'm just saying, if you're very passionate about having your own state, just like the Jews were, why not accept an offer that gives you, maybe it's not perfect, but it gives you something. We, the Jews, accepted an offer even though it was far from perfect. The answer is simply because it was never about a state. It was never about borders. It was never about land. In one of the offers, Israel offered them almost all of Judea and Samaria. It was never about land. It was always about Israel, its existence, its legitimacy. You can see it in their textbooks, where Israel is erased from maps. You can hear it in their slogans, from the river to the sea. You can feel it in the way they celebrated the massacre of innocent Jews on October 7. Not with shame, but with pride. So no, the two-state solution is not a solution. It's a fantasy built on lies, fed by Western guilt, and weaponized by those who hate Israel more than they love peace. And until we tell the truth that Palestinian nationalism was manufactured to oppose the Jewish state and not to build a new one, we will keep chasing the same failed idea again and again. So wake up. Stop pretending this is about justice. This is not a movement for freedom. This is a movement for destruction. And it's time we stop pretending otherwise.